Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the brand new American Legendary Tier Battleship, the thickest one on the block, Vermont. And so let's get into our commander. We're running Azure Lane, Colorado with Paolo DeRevel and John Fisher as our inspirations. We have Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and Courageous Shelling, as well as Fight Fire with Fire as our perks. For the build, we are running Main Battery Mod 2. We are running Steering Gears Mod 2. We are running Concealment Mod. And we are running the Main Battery Mod 3. I've only got the Epic one for now. You know, if I ever get to a point where I can upgrade this thing to Legendary, I might do that as well. Moving on. For the loadout, we are running the Italian Unity flag and the standard type camo that comes with the ship. I actually upgraded this the old-fashioned way. It is the historical, aka camo. There's no real historical because the ship didn't exist. The ship does, interestingly enough, come with defensive AA, which is hilarious. Also, it's in the wrong slot. This should be in this slot. This should be in this slot. I'm sorry. Period. Stop f***ing with us, Wargaming. This has the same issue that you have with the Minnesota, where the buttons are on the wrong freaking button. So you'll end up using the defensive AA when you want to use a spotter plane, or you'll end up hitting defensive AA when you're trying to use a catapult fighter if you're using the Arthas New Jersey build. It's real obnoxious. But this thing has all the hit points. 102,800 hit points with this build, and we are not running William Sims. You could definitely get this even higher. It has a 40% torque reduction, which is a little lower than I expected, to be honest. I thought this thing was supposed to have like a 55% torque reduction, but I digress. Doesn't matter. Still enough. Okay. Main battery is 457 millimeter, 45 caliber, times 12. You get 4 triple turrets. That's right. That's the big calling card. But interestingly enough, they also didn't nerf the range that much. I mean, obviously, coming from PC and having like 30 kilometers of range, they definitely nerfed it there. But this is one of those ships that you could easily build for range if you wanted to. Honestly, you don't really need to, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. If you wanted to build for like a full range build, you could easily get this up probably 22 kilometers. If I had to guess, somewhere in that neighborhood if you built for range. I don't, but you could. Firing reload time, we've got a base reload of 28.6 seconds, which is pretty ridiculous. This thing came in from PC with a 34-second reload. I think it's 34.8. But 34-second reload. It's basically the same exact reload as the Kansas. Do we not see a problem with that? I mean, don't get me wrong, Wargaming, I appreciate it, but this is probably not the best plan, because it's not as accurate as the PC version, but it is very accurate. Just like the Minnesota, just like the Kansas, you're going to be hitting superstructures from anywhere from 25 to 30K when you get that first shot when they aren't saturated. Pretty ridiculous. 180-degree turn time with this build is 32.3 seconds, so not too shabby, despite having the nerf to the traverse because of the Epic Reload mod. HE cell maximum damage is 6,100 and a 43% chance to set fires. I approve of this message. And then, of course, the AP shells base damage right now is 15,620. It's pretty spicy. Pretty spicy. Now, if you want to go full reload build on or full Azure Lane, New Jersey build, you can see how spicy that gets real quick. For secondaries, you got the same American secondaries you've always had. These are Mark 32s instead of the Mark 38s. But still, 127 millimeter guns, you get 16 of them. So you only get 4 turrets per side of the ship. 5-kilometer firing range, 6-second reload. HE shell maximum is 1,800 and a 5% chance to set fires. AA is actually surprisingly good on this as well, especially given the fact that you get a defensive AA boost. So, yeah, not too shabby there. It's close in AA for the most part. You do have the secondaries, dual-purpose secondaries that are able to reach out to 5 kilometers, but most of it's close in. 20 millimeter Oerlikons, you get 72 of those, doing 220 damage per second at 2 kilometers. And then the 40 millimeter Bofors Mark IIs, you get 84 of those. 84 of those, doing 334 damage per second, reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. So pretty ridiculous AA, not too shabby. Maximum speed is abysmal, as expected, 22.1 knots. They don't call it the brick for nothing, okay? It doesn't move a whole lot, okay? So you gotta be strategic with your positioning. Turning circle is bad, 850 meters. It's better than some, but it's not particularly good considering it's most likely like a Kansas or Minnesota. It's just not as good. And it comes with a ridiculously bad rudder shift, and I don't know why. Why did they nerf the rudder so bad bringing it over? The answer is simple. They want you to get caught broadside. So be careful, folks, because just like the Minnesota, just like the Kansas, if you get caught broadside, you're going to take a lot of damage. And this thing does give up citadels really easy as well. So keep that in mind. Detectability by sea is 13.8. Detectability by air is 11.5. Guaranteed is always 2. And the 15.7 kilometer detectability while firing in the smoke. Here is the stats, and it's going to be abysmal, folks. I've had a rough morning trying to get a ship or a game in this ship because my teams have been awful. The main gun accuracy has been surprisingly bad, but I think that's more due to the fact that I got to get used to these shells. They're a little bit slower than the Georgias and Ohios, so it takes me a little bit longer to get used to it, I guess. But yeah, it's been a rough morning, fellas. It's been rough. Our average damage is abysmal. Again, like I've had so many lopsided bullcrap teams that it has been awful. Awful. But I have had some great games in there as well, and I'm going to show you one of them right off the bat. Armor, it's what you'd expect. It's a lot of flat armor, so it looks good, but it's actually not. You got 32 millimeter bow, so overmatchable by Yama Musashi. You do have that nice torpedo blister, which is pretty helpful. It's 38 mil torpedo blister, covering your citadel, but honestly, it's so flat it doesn't really matter. They're going to get through that, and your citadel is just screaming to be punished. Citadel is right there, right at the waterline, slightly above the waterline. Any sort of turn whatsoever raises that citadel out of the water. Yamas can absolutely citadel you through the bow, so be careful there. They definitely have enough penetration to do so, and same goes for the stern. So definitely be careful when bow tanking Yama and Musashi or stern tanking them. Okay? But like I said, the biggest thing that people are going to get caught with, I've been hyping this thing up for a long time. Right? I've been hyping this ship up for a long time. The thing that's going to catch everybody is getting caught broadside or over-angled. It is flat armor. If you're in any sort of turn trying to get your guns on target and anybody pins that flat armor, which is not that difficult, you're going to take citadel damage. Trust me. And if you don't take citadels, you're going to take a boatload of damage because of the flat armor anyway. So keep that in mind. Moving on. It's got big guns. It's got 457 millimeter big main guns, and it has 12 of them. So yes, big guns. Guns aplenty. High volume. Again, 12. Slow. Below average maximum movement speed. Can't be stressed enough. Positioning is crucial in this ship. If you get out of position, you are going to be floating around for a long time before you get back into any sort of position to be useful. Vermont. During the World War I Dreadnought race, 6 projects for a battleship with maxed out capabilities were created. The engineers were given a lot of room to maneuver with only one limitation. The ship had to be able to go through the Panama Canal. The first project was a bit more conservative than others, featuring 12 high-caliber guns and 4 turrets, along with exceptionally powerful armor. General design was 1945. Alrighty, now you guys knew that we were going to have a video as soon as possible when the Vermont came out. I love this ship, but I will tell you this. This ship is not the be-all, end-all of everybody's game is going to be OP. Alright? As I showed you with the stats, you need a team that isn't completely useless. You will have moments where this ship will absolutely destroy anything and everything that moves. But you gotta get used to it first. The other thing that I'm actually thinking about building. So I have played this ship with the New Jersey build. Did well in it. 170 plus thousand damage. I played it with the reload build, which you're about to watch. Did well. 170,000 plus damage. I think there might be one more build thrown in there that could be juicy. And that is the ridiculous sniper build. What do I mean by that? I mean, this ship is a uniquely capable ship in World of Warships Legends, and that it probably has the longest range of any battleship in the game. I could be wrong. Just a hunch. But I have a sneaking suspicion that we could potentially get the range of this ship to around 24 kilometers, maybe a little bit further. Now, I haven't tried it, haven't experimented yet, and if that is true, then that might actually be potentially the right build for this thing. And the reason for that, of course, you would have to get real good at aiming because these shells are slow. Like I said, you gotta get used to aiming these shells. They are slow, and they definitely feel slower than the guns on the Ohio and on the Georgia. But man, when you get these things dialed in, when you get the beautiful shots that you just love, oh my Lanta. This ship will put a smile on your face in a heartbeat. Unless, of course, you're on the receiving end, in which case it could put a very big frown on your face in a heartbeat. But notice I don't fire my guns here. Why is that? That's because there's a Worcester, a GK, and a Brisbane. I can't see them, and they would definitely be able to see me. Now, the next question is, why am I not firing here? There's a Worcester lit up, I can see. There's a GK lit up that I can see. And it's simple, folks. You have to be patient with this ship. You can't just fire the guns every single time. Now, yes, you can, but look at this. He makes the turn we've all been waiting for. I take the shot, and the rest is history. Nighty-night, sunshine. And of course, on the last shell, we get the Pitadel for good measure. Worcester down. Dev strike number 1. Wait, he's counting dev strikes now? Yeah, don't worry. There's gonna be another one soon. Can anybody take a guess as to which one it is? Is it the GK? Unlikely. Is it the Brisbane? Why would a Brisbane try to put himself in a situation of getting yeeted? And it's simple, folks. Everybody wants to kill the new ship in town, right? This Brisbane wants to go on Facebook or Reddit or YouTube or whatever have you, maybe the Discord, and he wants to show a clip of him torping a Vermont from full health to dead. That's what he wants. Let's see if he gets it, folks. Hitting the dummy button in 3, 2, 1. Pull the trigger! And... bonk. Yeah, that's dev strike number 2. Which is actually technically about dev strike number 6. Maybe 5. I don't remember. I stopped counting all of the dev strikes, but you saw my first shot I ever took at it, which was against the Colbert and Pop Goes the Weasel. Not that that's that impressive. I mean, if anything, it's more impressive that I hit the Colbert with a Vermont. It's not impressive that I dev struck it, because let's be honest, if a Colbert's broadside, anything's gonna dev strike it. But hitting him with the Vermont is actually pretty impressive, because you have to lead a long ways, as I'm sure you saw in the short, because I couldn't even like get the ship and my aim on the same like spot for the short. I legitimately had to like lead that man so much to hit that shot, but we hit it. And now this GK is making the quote-unquote gamer turn. We know he's got a belt, so we aim high, and front guns do a pretty substantial amount of damage, and rear guns look like laser beams to me, and pop goes the weasel. Oh no! Why do we always have to leave him with just enough to get away? In this case, he didn't get away. He just died immediately, but hey, we do what we gotta do, right? Now, we have taken a beating. We're at 116,000 damage, and I have some choices to make, folks. Choices. We all have choices we got to make. And when you're in the Vermont, you better be planning your choices ahead of time. Because if you don't, you will never be in position when you need to be, as we're about to showcase. Now, this Montana, he's about to get introduced to the Vermont real soon. And I'm not going to lie, I wish I was not running, like, the gyrating drill bits right now, slowing myself down. But we're going to aim for superstructure on the Montana. We know he's turning away from us. He's going to try to kite. We just used our second to last heal. And bonk. Just casual 20k damage. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Montanas do that to Montanas all the time. Minnesotas, Kansas do that all the time. So that's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. This is a fantastic ship. But it is a very, very... It's not even situational, because it's not really. It's just all about positioning with this ship. So we take another shot at the superstructure of Vermont. Or not Vermont, but Montana. And we get another solid result. Have you seen anything that's like out of the ordinary for anything? Like, no. This isn't the ship that's just going to come in and press delete on everybody. It's just not. It's got a good health pull. It's got a solid heal, as you get on most American ships. It's got a great accuracy, high volume of fire, and when you get the reload, like I said, reload build's probably the one that I'm going to stick with, just because it seems to be pretty consistent. The shells are accurate enough. You don't need to go full New Jersey and stack damage and try to get that extra. I mean, 15,600 damage on a Citadel is ridiculous. Could that have been better? Absolutely. There's no reason I couldn't have put that up to the Arthas button in a little New Jersey, and I would have been over 200k in this game if I had to guess. But doesn't matter, because we have the guns ready. Musashi's there. We aim for auto-aim over the island. And... bonk. It's consistent. Every time you pull the trigger, the guns are going to hit the thing that you're aiming. Okay? May not hit exactly where you're aiming, but they're going to hit the thing you're aiming at. And if you actually know what you're doing, and when you're placing your shots, you're going to have a good time. However, when you have a long reload, and of course we've got our reload down to manageable, so I wouldn't call it long. I am going to take a shot here on the Montana. Didn't expect to hit the Montana here. He's outside of our range, but you never know. You take all the shots, or you miss all the shots you don't take. However, you notice there's somebody in our base right now. Is there a reason that I'm turning back towards the base? Why is it everybody else is running away from the base? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, somebody's got to go back, because you can't count on people that are in the enemy cap to actually win the game for you, right? You gotta play smart. Now here, I go ahead and I actually start to fire, and he actually takes a torp. I didn't think he was going to take that torp. I thought he was missing him. But either way, he goes down. Battleships are running away. Torpedoes are coming in. We know it's a Hayate that's left over here. Or, sorry, Z-46 that's left over here. And so we are going to try to push into the Z-46 and get him out of this cap. Or at least stop him from being able to cap faster than our guys could potentially cap. Right? Gotta defend, guys. Battleships, doesn't matter. You learn to deal with destroyers. If you know the direction that the destroyer is in, watch how I do this. Pay attention. I just got spotted. We know that the destroyer spots us by the top of our mast, right? As soon as we clear the island, he gets a spot. So we know he's roughly at our 1 o'clock. So we point our bow at the destroyer. As close to it as we can. We are already rotating the guns to the right side of the ship to prepare for the inevitable potential shot at the destroyer if we get it. Now, we are incredibly slow. We are in a gyrating drill bits Vermont, okay? There is no such thing as speed when it comes to this thing, especially if you're not running the propulsion mod. which you shouldn't run the propulsion mod on this because you need the rudder. Like, you just do. You need to be able to get the full broadside away, otherwise what is the point? Now here, Z gets spotted, we go ahead and take a shot, we get terrible RNG, but we do hit him with one, resets the cap. We take the flood, and I let the flood go for a little bit because I was anticipating another set of torpedoes from this German destroyer. German destroyers generally have a pretty good reload, especially if they're running the Mosquitoes perk. Like, they can have a sub 60-second reload. Now, I don't know much about the Z46 in particular, so I'm just waiting for the inevitable wall of skill to come at me, and I'm trying to change after I go dark. I try to change course to throw myself away from the direction that I was last spotted, and I'm just holding until my team can manage to capture the base at this point. We do go ahead and put out the flood. If I'd have known that they were going to capture the base a little bit sooner, I would have let the flood go even further and tried to get an unsinkable. But either way, they do capture the base. We defended. We did everything we had to do in this fight. We got a lot of big hits out of this. I hope that this is a good showcase for you, what you can expect out of this. Now, there are going to be some ridiculous Vermont games. Make no mistake. There is going to be somebody put up 400,000 damage in this ship. I guarantee it. They will get the perfect game where every potato on the enemy team goes broadside, and this Vermont will press delete. It is just how it is. You're throwing 12, 18-inch shells downrange. Anything that's broadside is going to pay. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for the Vermont? Have I tempered your expectations of the Vermont a little bit? Let me know. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.